like obviously it'd be 10 years since my mum passed October, and 11 years in April since my dad. And at the time, it's just like, this is like, it's crazy. I'm thinking to myself like you never, I don't know, it's just weird like hearing your parents pass away.
Yeah.
And like, I just remember, because most of the time I kind of stayed with live with my mum. My parents like separated early on,
Okay.
so I've always been like, okay, as long as I've got my mum, I'm cool. Like even one point when I was younger, I said, you know, like if my dad's not here, it's like I was fine. Like, I can kind of deal with it. But then when I got told he passed away, it's different. It's a different story. It's like almost like it's humbling, where you think, actually, I don't need the pops. But then when
You know what,
he's not here,
I think that thought comes from in the back of our minds. We feel like, you know, if at some point everything will be blessed. Like we have enough time. Like, to put it into other context, like if someone does have a good relationship with their dad, in the back of their mind they feel like, I have time to fix that relationship. Or
yeah,
maybe we'll mend later on. And then when they pass and you realize like, yo.
yeah, you know what? That's actually mad, because before he was like ill for a while, but even then I didn't think he's gonna. I just thought, yeah, maybe he'll get better. So it's that hope where I'm thinking, yeah, he's gonna get better, and we can start doing things, and like, because from prior to him being ill, I don't have a lot of memories. So it's like, so at that time, I think, okay, cool, we can make up for this, and it's fine. But then, like when he's gone, it's a different. Yeah, it's a different story, and that's what I kind of have you on, because I know like with men, it's everyone has different relationships with their dads. But I also feel like I don't hear often enough, you know, how like fathers influence, their lives, or how fathers like show up in it. Because I always feel like, yeah, like you grow up, a lot of the time, a lot of my friends, it's the same. Like single mom, like we've kind of known how to just get by. But then, so you just become used to that. But I feel like that shouldn't be the norm. I feel that you should have your dad around. You should have like, even if like
even if they're not together, you should have both.
Yeah, this is it. So it's never really been like that from like, for me, from 16. So I've just been used to. That's why I've been, okay, cool. If he's not here, it's fine. I can do it. I've managed. So it's like I'm gonna be all right. But then when grief hits, it's like it's just a whole different story.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to get into your story, because obviously you've experienced it, and like just wanted you to share like what it's been like, and how if that's impacted you, in what ways impacted you, if you feel comfortable sharing.
You see, I feel like I've been in a constant state of grief. I think a lot of us in a constant state of grief, because when I go to sleep and I wake up and I have 30 notifications, my heart just starts beating every single day, bro.
But is that because of you've had experienced loss, or
correct? When you've experienced loss like that, every notification, every missed call, all of that, it just builds up. You know, you got people that don't answer. They won't answer private number, or they won't answer a number.
Yeah, that's like me.
I'm not on that.
Oh, is it?
I answer every single call, bro.
I get this get about private numbers.
Yeah, no, I answer it all, because my mind just goes to a space where like, yo, because I've had friends that have taken their own life.
Okay.
And I found out maybe some time after I missed their call. Or I ignored their call.
Yeah.
And it plays on my mind to think, could answering have made a difference?
Okay.
Was that the call that could have, changed a man's or a woman's decision? It's nuts. So I answer everything. 0856, I answer everything.
There's 019. I'm like, listen, it's always, I get the insurance cold calls, so I'm like, no.
As soon as I hear a cold call, I'm gone. But I'll answer it, because I just want to, make sure it's skin tight. So I feel like I'm in a constant state of grief, bro. Like, something happens all the time. Like, just today, I found out one of my friends took her life. Just today. Imagine I'm on my way here.
Wow.
And then boom. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about You see, when we're gone, some may grieve 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever it may be. At some point, you got to snap back into life and just crack on.
Yeah.
And then just when you're about to crack on, boom, something else.
This.
That's why I feel like we're in a constant state of grief.
Do you know what? I feel I've been feeling like that, but I've not quite answered how to articulate it, because with me, I'm like you as well, where if I mean, there's a word for it. I think they said hypochondriac.
Okay.
So you're always kind of like fearing the worst. So with me, I'm always like,
okay, yeah.
And I remember it was like one time, like, and my aunt, she never really gets ill or sick. And then one time my sister called me, and me and my sister were close, but when she calls me, because we just mostly text. If I'm getting a call, I'm like, I'm getting a bit worried, because like we don't normally call like that. So she called me, and she's like, hey, I don't want you to panic. And then what am I doing? I'm panic. So when you start off with that, I'm gonna panic.
Yeah.
And she was just like, yeah, my aunt had a fall, and I'm just thinking my mind's going overdrive, and it's like it's because of like the losses. So like, because when my dad passed, the year after my mum passed, so I'm just like, oh no, like what now? And then like, when I'm getting to a point where I'm finally okay, I'm like, oh please don't, I don't want anything. So it's like you can't snap out of it, and it's like, and I find myself in, okay, what can I do? I can't have a breather from this, but what can I do to just be like, you know what, just stop worrying. And that's the thing with me. I'm overthinking and worrying, which is just two. It's just two bad combos like that I just need to somehow learn how to manage. But that's the thing with life. You're always gonna be something, and I feel like with grief, like it's we're all gonna experience it, unfortunately, but it's just like I'm like, okay, maybe not now. Just give me a couple years. But that's not how it works. I can't be like, oh yeah, okay, you know what? 10 years, then come back to me in 10 years.
Yeah,
and that, you know what I mean? But so it's not, and the worst thing as well, like it's not at your own convenience.
It's not.
And that's what kind of scares me. Even when I spoke to you and I'm like, okay, this year, like, baby's on the way. I'm just, my mind's just being like, constantly just overthink. I'm like, oh, please. I'm just like, nah, just like, you know what? Right now, it's just about, because you hear stories, and I feel like, I always see myself, I feel like I'm strong to a degree, but I don't want to be like, oh, I don't want God to be giving me like, back to back. Listen, I'm not on it. I'm not on it. Like I'm not that strong. So I never really. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. Like so, like as you said, you're a constant state of grief. So what do you do like to? I guess you can't. Maybe what? I don't know. Can you come out of it?
So the best way I'd advise anybody to deal with it is the way I deal with it, which is just live. Live. They're not living anymore, so do it for them. Do it for you. That's how I view it. Because like, it's been 2 years since my dad passed, and about 2 weeks ago I tried to phone him.
Oh wow.
Oh, I totally forgot. Totally forgot. The phone was ringing.
Yeah.
No one answered, and then I realized, like, whoa, what am I doing?
But was that like how can I put it, like just trying to feel something again, or feel connected to them in some way again?
I felt something. I wanted to ask him something.
Yeah.
So I just dialed the number and I was just waiting for him to answer. And then I realized, oh shit, what am I doing? And then get me. Just like that, out of the blue. And that prompted me to really, I was in bed when it happened. That prompted me to get up and just go and do something, man. Go and do something. And I think that's the best way any of us can deal with grief. Man. Just live.
But the thing is, this is probably like, that advice is sound advice, but the problem with someone like me, I'm always thinking, okay, yeah, I can take, but how long would it be until I think, actually, you know, what if something bad happens again? And that's the thing. It's just hard because you can't always be like worrying about. Sometimes you just got to live in the moment. Like things are gonna happen regardless, and
going to happen.
And I think it takes a strong mind to be like, I'm gonna just live to the point where I'm not gonna worry. And that's one thing I kind of admire about my mum. Like she had her health issues, because she had sickle cell.
Oh.
So like, I think everyone experiences different. Like she's been in a hospital, but she's always like, my mum's always been positive, and I'm just like, And again, I don't know what the pain's like, but I remember once she told me, no, my aunt was telling me like, no, she told me that basically when she has a crisis, it's like a hot rod just going through her body. I'm thinking that's insane. Like, it might just like living with that constantly, and but yet she doesn't moan. She won't moan. She'll just still like live her life. And I'm thinking, so when I think about it, I'm like, why am I like constantly overthinking over and when I have no excuse? But again, I tell myself that, but then for after a while, I'm back to square one where I'm overthinking again. So it's just, I don't know.
But then that's again, you got to snap back and just, get back to it. I'm not saying it erases the grief or the fall. It won't. But it's a constant mental battle to just keep at it, bro. Keep at it. And similar to like what you just mentioned about your mom, my dad was like that. He had cancer.
Okay.
And he was weak, he was in pain, all of that, but he was still just on vibes.
I admire that, man.
Bro, from his deathbed, like his potential deathbed, should I say. He was in King's Hospital. His daughter, his nieces all came to check him. And he's just cussing out everybody in the room, like, with no remorse or nothing. People are bawling, crying, like he's hurting feelings, and then he's laughing, teasing, like, and it's like he didn't die then. Like he lived on for another 3, 4, 5 months.
Oh wow!
So he was just on some freeness, kind of thing, and it was interesting to see because it was like, where would our relationship be if you were like this all the time? You see, so you kind of get to see a different. It's like asking yourself, what would I do if I found out I had 24 hours to live?
Yeah, I think we will all sort of do things without any, well, not without thought, but you just care less because okay, well, I've got nothing to lose.
This is it. But for majority of cancer battles, you don't know when your last day is going to be. So. And these are his words. He started to live every day like it was his last. But I'm saying, what if we started doing that like now whilst we're healthy?
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, you know what?
We take the tomorrow for granted. We all do, all of us. Because we start planning what we're doing next week. You don't even know.
Yeah. But we're all like that. We're kind of...
everybody is doing that. I get that. And it's... People say don't be morbid, all of that. Yeah, I get that, but where do you draw the line, man?
Yeah, I feel like like you said, what you said about I think that's inspiring because I say to myself, obviously, God forbid, and I say that heavily, God forbid, like something happens. I'm just thinking to myself, how can I be positive? But some people, like I said, your dad, he's going through something so traumatic, but he still kept throwing vibes. You're still being yourself, and it's like that's when that takes a lot of mental strength, and I feel like that is the levels I want to aspire to be because right now you just overthink, and I feel like there's not to say like stress kills. I feel like even somehow with mental health, people obviously we don't see it, but somehow after a while like things take its toll on you, and like you said, you've got to get to a point, you just got to get on with it. And look, it's not easy, and some might say even it's been 11 and 10 years in terms of my grief journey, but I don't feel like personally something that I will ever get over. But even with that still doesn't mean I can't still
I don't think anybody
live life to the fullest.
You're not supposed to get over it. Like, it's not like that's your mom and dad.
You're
not supposed to just, it's been 15 years, so we're over it. Nah. That experience is going to shape you. It's going to shape your children. It's going to shape their children for the rest of their lives, bro.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think when I look at myself now, like how I want to be, and I think I don't ever want to just keep going through the years, but then I'm still in the same place mentally. Because I always feel like whenever we think of life, people evolve. Yeah, you think about the tangible things. That you've got this, you've got this house, but and that's cool. But then if you're still in that same mindset, you haven't evolved mentally, I feel like that doesn't all those things don't really mean anything, and that's why I kind of feel like a lot of the time, because before when I used to hear people, someone's like, oh, what today they're happy, and then you hear like that guy, he was I don't know if he was an actor or musician. I think his name was is it Twitch? He's what's his? He was like a
Was he alive?
No, he committed suicide.
Okay.
He was he was it last. I forgot his name. But my point is he was like when people see him larger than life, just always happy, always dancing.
With suicide, yeah, it's always the happy people. Always happy looking people. I'll tell you my story. 2019, rough year.
Yeah.
Rough year. Lost my brethren, lost a couple of brethren, lost my nephew, all in the same year, going for a divorce, dealing with fatherhood. My eldest is autistic, so that is a challenge in itself. Rough year. If you see me, you think, boom, Ken is Ken, he's just vibes, get me? But I was attempting, bro. Actually attempting. Not thoughts, attempting, bro.
Wow.
Boom, prayer, God, therapy, all of that. It's how I'm able to sit here and talk to you. Now, I'm not going to act like I'm fully healed because, bro, it gets on top. But again, it's just a constant mental battle to just snap on and live.
Yeah, that's a lot, and that's why like I'm always
so I don't buy into the smiles and get me. I am somebody. Like I said, I answer every phone call, and it's the same thing. If I feel like you might be going through something, I'm gonna ask. You might take offense or whatever, but I just felt I needed to ask. Like, for example, I asked I have a brethren, he's going through his fitness journey. He's looking good, he's looking healthy. Boom. But I just felt like, yo, it's, something going on.
Yeah.
So I asked him, he got offended and whatnot, but I was just glad I was able to find out, like, he's good.
Yeah, it's better to ask, and if they get offended, but at least okay,
you're good.
They're good.
That's the thing. So the smiles and that, I say that to say the smiles, the joyous vibes people, check on them too, bro. It's not the sad looking friends only, bro.
And that's the thing. Obviously, like, it's interesting because, like you said, it's always a smile. Even when obviously, like, we don't speak all the time, but when I see you, you're vibrant, positive. So, and even just hearing you giving context into your journey now, it's like you just don't know. And I think sometimes, I don't know, maybe I don't want to say it's the same for you, but I feel like as men, I'm always like, okay, yeah, I'm fine. And I think sometimes I think it was, I'll probably say a year after my mum passed. I don't know what it was. Like, I'm still kind of in the thick of grief, but that year was tough. And that's the year I actually decided to do, I signed up for therapy. Because, I think one of the scariest things is when you're just in your mind, and you're just keeping things in. And I used to do that quite a lot where I'm like, okay, you know what, there's something bothering me, but because of pride, I don't want to say, but it's eating you. And I remember, and I wasn't saying I was on the point of doing something, but I remember just being so tired of my mind to the point where when I'm asleep, that's when I'm cool. And I'm not gonna lie, that was scary. I'm like, you know what, this is actually mad because it's not normal for me to just be at peace when I'm sleeping. So when I'm waking, I'm just constantly, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how I got through it, but that's
what was it more of? Like, you wanted to be with your mum?
I think it was just like, because when I think about my mum, like even though like I'm very much independent, but I just feel like you just need your parents, man. And it's just the thought of her not being there, and I think at that time it was I think because it was still fresh as well, and like I just felt, this is just.
But is it
pain.
different 10 years later? Is there Is it different?
I feel like now, yeah, it's different in the sense where I'm not in that same space, but it's still hard. It's still hard, and I think for me, like I'm thinking to myself, it will be hard. But I feel what I'm feeling her not is just her not being well, both of them. Not it's not even just my mum. Both of them not being here for the occasion. Like I said, this year, like I'm getting married this year. Married, and it says now, thank you, man. So it's like that and a baby, and it's just something. It's just like even the other day, I'm just like, you know what, just chill. Because even though I was saying to myself, I need to go ham, do this. Yeah, I'm working. Okay, find this job, get an extra this, get it, and it's like, I'm like, bro, this is gonna be non-stop. But I think I do it to myself. I'm not saying it's gonna be a walk in the park because I know, like, well, not I don't know, but I feel like parenthood is one of those journeys where it's lifelong and it's hard. But my mind's just going to that place of thinking the worst, and I don't like doing it, but it's just I don't know. It's just that's just how I am, and I'm like I'm trying to.
But thinking the worst isn't always a bad thing. It's signs of someone that's in preparation mode. Because it's to say that you are prepping for if the worst happens. It's not so much a bad thing.
I think
there's a difference between thinking the worst all the time and thinking negative all the time.
Okay. And I think what drives it is when I get to a place where, okay, of course, like when you think of these things, marriage, you're gonna be happy. So you're thinking about everything, yeah, talking about names, what we're gonna do, what we're gonna like. So that's normal. But I think where it gets a bit dark for me is that maybe I can't get too excited because if this is kind of pulled up from the rug, and like I think one night I was just like, I literally had to pray because I was like, no, get that out of your head. And I know, yes, it's not a, I can't say, understand what women go through, and you just hear the stories of like it's not a joke.
No, people